Bear with me here. 1810, you're going to get the distance. It's going to be 1085 on the footage on the elevation.
I mean, that's an assumption, so we can't state that. Hey.
I think I went too far. Bear with me.
The question is on the grounding of the LA Sheriff's helicopters.
Okay,
that this is outfitted for more than that.
So she thinks the difference between the LA helicopter and this one is the amount of people it can hold. Well, the LA helicopters are SAR, search and rescue helicopter, if I'm correct, and they do have TAWS on it. Yeah, that's her thing. It's a huge difference, but TAWS is not the deal there. It's the pilot's ability, right? Visual sight, etc. Let me go back to the 1085.
Strictly focus on the facts, and then those facts will lead us to an analysis.
Yeah.
I'll come back to that. Stephanie.
Blows them up. So it's going to show the drone. They didn't take the drone to the right
correct. The question is, what did we learn from the drone from the flight path information that we put in the drone today? I mean, we were looking at the flight path, so the angle it took coming in. We didn't fly it low because that would be a problem, and there were people.
So part of the investigation is inept. They can't fly it low because they can't get people out of the way. Their own people. They can't say stand clear while we do the drone shot. That's ridiculous.
Tom Costello with NBC News. You mentioned that TAWS was not on board this chopper, but did the chopper have some sort of a derivative of TAWS, or some poor man's TAWS that may have linked GPS into some sort of a terrain avoidance system?
She's got to ask him, but then she's going to refer.
You're asking if the aircraft had any type of GPS-based.
He didn't say GPS. He changed the question. He said any type of avoidance system, which would include landing gear down. That's an avoidance system, but he changed it to GPS. So that narrative change, it just pissed me off.
Terrain avoidance system. Again, as mentioned, we're going to be going through all the equipage that's on the aircraft so that we can understand that. That'll be part of developing the sequence. Right now, that doesn't look to be part of the scenario that we're looking at, but we'll definitely be.
See, not part of the scenario they're looking at. In other words, they do have a little agenda already saying that the scenario is not. That's not it. We're not going to be looking at that right now. Why don't you look at it? Why not look at it like the guy asked to wonder if it's got that equipment on it? I would wonder.
Document the wreckage with it.
What's this?
You had a second question on the 20 to 30 feet that I just mentioned.
Right. So it could have cleared the another 20, 30 feet. It could have cleared its location and made it to a secondary surface, if you will. The hillside surfaces, they're not totally flat, but it would have been a different location. Here we go.
The question is on the 20 to 30 feet. Somebody just asked where the impact site was. It was 1,085 feet.
There we go. 1,085 feet is where the impact site was. You take that from the 2,300, and you can figure out his speed. Although she says it's going to be about 1 minute of flight time, which is just craziness, right? 1 minute of flight time from when he turned to get where he is. That math is just driving me crazy because he's a 1085, 2,300. Let's call it 1,100 here and 23 here. He's dropping 1,200 feet. He's going to lose 1,200 feet of height. She states he's losing that height at 2,000 feet per minute, and now we need 2.53 miles roughly if you're going at 150 miles an hour. So 2,000 feet per minute. His descent rate, as she stated, was miles per hour. If you look at the previous video I did, it's a longer narrative of this one. It's the short version. I'm showing you that let's see, miles per hour converted to feet per second. Already did that one? No. Right. So he's going at 150 miles per hour, reportedly 152 if we look at the the tracker data. He's doing 223 feet per second, and that comes out to 2.53 miles that he would need. So, calculator, sorry. So 223 feet times 1 minute she's going to state. That's going to be 2.5, 13,380 divided by 5,280. That's a mile in feet. And you get 2.53 miles. So if you look at a graph I'm going to make in the midair, just right here, right? That's the 2,300. Down here is the 1085. He has to travel from here to get across, just straight across, and if he could drop right then, that's 2.53 miles. But she said I need to eat up 1 minute in this direction coming down. So he's getting closer to the ground, and it's a diagonal. So I need to find out how do I eat up 1 minute with the descent rate and still wind up at 2.53 miles away. She hasn't told us his horizontal speed, and that's so critical here, which would determine that he's under control. But they state that they're not sure if he was under control. Yet we now have a 1 minute timeline between 2,300 down to 1085. And at 152 miles per hour, I come up with 2.53 miles, just going sideways, not even counting down the diagonal. So we come back to this.
Up, and he asked what the height of the hill was, and it was about 20-30 feet above that.
So the helicopter
flight
the
path.
height of the hill was just
so
20, 30 feet
the angle it took coming in, we didn't fly it low because that would be a problem, and there were people working in that area. So we just wanted to look at part of the flight path, and we want to document the wreckage with it. You had a second question? On the 20 to 30 feet that I just mentioned. The question is on the 20 to 30 feet, somebody just asked where the impact site was. It was 1,085 feet up, and he asked what the height of the hill was, and it was about 20-30 feet above that. I mean, what?
Yeah, so the question was how much did the helicopter miss the hill? It's important to realize that there's not one hill. It's a ravine with undulating terrain. So the small outcropping that had the main impact in it, the main impact was about 20 to 30 feet from the top of that small hill, but there are actually other higher hills surrounding it, if that makes sense to you. It's in this canyon with small hills within it. There's other hills right close by, correct?
Well, and I don't know that we can say it probably would have hit another hill either. I mean, that's an assumption.
So she's saying basically he might not hit another hill. He might have been a home run. Realize this is 20, 30 feet higher, but we don't know how much more horizontally. 20, 30 feet higher? How much more horizontally did he have to go? Only half a second more? You know, maybe he's missing his whole deal by about 3 seconds or 1.5 seconds before he would have landed on the ground on that hill that they just stated. What else I want to grab in this short video? You've got that. You've got the height. You've got the 1085. I'm just looking at my notes here. Please look at the other video. You'll see that she's not qualified to be doing this. She's qualified in that they put her in this position, but someone sent me her basically showing that she just handed the job by Cromwell or whatever his name is that runs the NTSB because of her lobbying skills from the House side. Specifically, he mentioned Democrat with her application. So that's what they. So it seems like that's her strength that they hired her for, and now she's out here running the front on this major incident. And significantly, she ran it on the FIU bridge collapse. She was in the public meeting asking questions. She's the one that asked the questions. If you look at her background, she knows nothing. She has no engineering background. There's nothing in her background to state she has one penny of engineering. There's nothing in her background so she has any flight training, any other training. I mean, we gave her a certificate for being able to go to a hazmat school, and hazmat certificate for being able to put the clothes on, I guess, and which OSHA probably require her to do because of the job going out the sites. And she says it reveals that she's, for the past 6 years before that, on and off again, she worked at the Civic Association in her neighborhood, I guess it is. So that's the extent of that job hire right here. That this is really nasty what they're doing to us in the public, representing us like this. This is nasty. Yet she's coming off as the expert. Now it'll explain why, if you go look at that first video, why she keeps resorting back to him to talk, and why she has this attitude, because she doesn't have a clue. Also explains why she thinks 2,000 feet per minute is really fast, because she doesn't know it's really 27.2727 miles
Last
per
press
hour.
conference that we're going to have. We are not leaving the scene. Our investigators still have work to do.
Let's go here.
We, again,
You have the question they asked. Here we go. And you see how she has to turn in.
You mentioned the 135 charter.
correct.
As I understand it, Island Express was certified just as an IFR. Is that?
So she doesn't know about planes. See, her eyes are down. She can't keep contact because she has no clue. She's thinking how to punt right now. Her eyes are down. She's not looking at the guy, paying attention, because she's like, I have no idea what he's talking about, really. IFR, VFR. Remember, it's irrelevant. He was in VFR now, not special VFR. He was just in VFR. That's all she should care about. But here, he's going to ask a simple question, and she's going to have to ask the man to explain. This would normally be called mansplaining if he did it over top of her, but she keeps begging for him to come save her.
That correct? Sorry, a VFR. Was that correct? And would that mean that the instrumentation on that aircraft was not maintained up to a IFR standard?
Looks like she's glassed over now. Looks like glassed over eyes.
You want to take that?
You want to take that? I would love it if he said no.
So
She's like,
yes,
I don't have a clue.
you're correct. They have a Part 135 VFR certificate as to how the instruments were maintained and if they were kept to IFR standards. That's something we'll be looking into in the maintenance records. We haven't got that far yet.
But is the fact that they were classified that way, is that part of the investigation?
Yes, sir.
Jennifer, Dante Greco, TMZ, how far from the top?
Look at that look of her. See that nasty look she gave? Like, I don't like these questions. I need to get back to my Civic Association meeting.
Classified that way, is that part of the investigation?
Yes, sir.
Watch his face.
Jennifer, Dante Greco, TMZ, how far from the top of the hillside was the impact, as in, how much did they miss doing the mountain bike? And also, was Kobe on that same flight on Saturday?
I'm going to say Mr. Mountain Bike.
I don't have information on the passenger manifest for Saturday, but the crash site was 1,085 feet. There were other hills in the area, but the impact area is at 1,085 feet.
How much did they miss clearing that mountain bike?
How much did they clear missing the mountain by? I mean,
Oh, yeah, 20 feet, 30 feet.
maybe 20, 30 feet
Do we know?
over here.
So you see that this is the longer version of that video public. They published it was out there, and that's the longer version. Look at the title here. So I'm going to jump a couple of things real quick. And I'm going to let
The question was on the weather information. We and the question
I'm fast forwarding
we need to do.
because he's going to ask the guy to help.
So
him.
while I do appreciate a lot of what we received, and a majority of what we received is fantastic.
Fast forward.
So you're asking if the aircraft had any type.
So you got to ask him again. So anyway, and once again here, let's see where this one's at.
Is it too soon to say whether or not the pilot was still in control of the helicopter when it started that abrupt descent?
That it is too soon to state whether the helicopter was still in control, or the pilot was still in control of the helicopter at that point.
Is that consistent with controlled flight? What you received?
Is what consistent?
The climbing, the bank, steep decline. Does that sound like controlled flight?
I don't look at the hand.
You want to answer?
The question is, does the bank and descent sound like controlled flight. That would be asking us to draw a conclusion at this point, and until we put together all the information.
All right, so I want to get you, yeah, but he's got a couple of them he will draw against, though. Let's do,
investigators still have work to do. We, again, will...
Let me see if I get you one more. It was one more that was, well, look at the other video, I think, because I don't know if I can find
our recommendations. In 10 days, we're going to issue a preliminary report.
And fast forward.
More than we have now. We issue safety recommendations. Was on this helicopter. We have verified it was not. Can expect.
Well, it was verified it was not, but it didn't have to be on there. So that shows your agenda. That damn tossed agenda. So this is the lobbying person. That's all that came out here. They threw out
over the next several weeks and months.
All right. So I don't know how to end this.
White tarp bags, which.
White tarp bags.
The question is on the terrain warning. It didn't have a terrain warning and awareness system, so no. It did.
He said audible or anything. It's the landing gear one I keep talking about. That one it might have. So they're saying no. But what do they? Don't even know their own helicopter they're researching at this point that they're dealing with?
Not have that. What was your first question?
Why would the helicopter go up to 2,000 feet and then go down to 1,700 feet?
He was trying to climb it. Go
Right,
ahead.
he
was trying to climb out of the cloud layer at the time. So.
Yeah. That's what you hear now. He's trying to climb out of the cloud layer at the time. Like that. Yeah, I can answer that one. So that shows he's in control at that point. Climbing out of the cloud layer because they have the release of the audio. They got the real release.
Oh. Yes.
I'm going to end it there. Look, have a good day. I'm just going to give you the shortcut of the long video I just did now. Please look at it. It's got some links in there. In the video, you just got to copy them, look at them, research them, and you'll see that this is just somebody that it's just nasty what they're doing to the public on us. They do this public thing in NTSB as required to do the public meetings, and when they do those public meetings, they're the ones that ask the questions. And they have people like her asking the questions. We know that with the FIU bridge collapse. She was on the board asking questions, and yet she has no knowledge of anything about this stuff. When I say no knowledge, she's not professionally trained, knowledgeable about that and asking the right questions. She's just asking questions. She had a couple of good ones, and then she tailed off. And I was wondering why she tailed off, because she doesn't know the next question to ask, or she's part of narratives and she could care less. Terminating video.